to another episode of From the Shadows, and as always guys, if you are enjoying the series, please do drop a like on the video. Now, we're going to start off just jumping straight in with a question of the day, and today's question is this. It actually came in yesterday, but I decided to throw it straight into the front of the list because it actually is kind of relevant, and that is this. Alberto Cherry has signed for Juve. What do you think? Well, obviously, I know he was released by Parma because, obviously, they went bust, so all the players were, in theory, released, and he's been picked up by Juve, and that is for me, it's a good signing. Obviously, you don't know quite how he's going to turn out in real life based on how he turns out on FM, but, he's very, very highly rated. And to go from being, released by Parma, obviously, through no fault of their own, of course, but has been picked up straight away by Juve, and I believe he's been given a shirt. Oh no, it's Dybala, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, apologies. But the point is, he looks like a really solid signer for the future, and obviously we'll get to see how he pans out for us over a long period of time, and you never know, he might map that out as well in the future for Juve. So of course, let me know what you guys think of that signing, and if you do have an idea for a question of the day, drop it in the comments with the hashtag QOTD. Right, now let's get into things, and as you can see, it has been a piss poor month, and that's not the first time I've said that. Now, I made a slight change to the tactic this month because I thought to myself, right, that tactic was great, and I know I've defended it a lot, and rightly so, because it has won us a lot of games, but I figured that perhaps we needed to just sort of evolve it slightly, now that we are in the top flight, have slightly better players that could probably do slightly more, so I figured there might be a way that we could give ourselves a bit more of an edge, and I've only changed one tiny thing, but I'll explain that in a second. In fact, what I did basically was, I noticed that in some games, we were getting caught in possession. Like, we kept a lot of possession, but sometimes we'd hold onto the ball a little too long, and I figured that's because we were playing with lower tempo selected, basically. So what I decided to do instead was to turn that off, and I think that it made a slight difference. Now, obviously, as you can see, the league games have been utterly dreadful, but I don't think that's entirely fair if you look at some of the things that have happened. We're going to go through them now. So Toulouse, third in the league at the time, I think, coming into the game, or certainly they were doing well in the league. As you can see, yet another one of these games where we were very, very close. Now, as you can see, again, possession-wise, we dropped off a little bit. Now, I didn't actually change the tactic thing in this game, so this is not relevant to that. Now, Ryan Mendes de Graca gave them the lead on 11 minutes, but an instant reply for Salih Uchan, and I thought, okay, times could be changing. We might actually be onto something here. Then we actually took the lead through Alberto Cherry, getting himself another goal. He's been really, really good. Like, considering the way things have gone, he's actually had to do a very, very good job for us standing in now, because we are really lacking in players at the moment, and we can't really pick anyone up just at the moment anyway, and I don't want to rush signings in January. I hate signing players in January. You might notice that I very rarely do it unless I absolutely have to, because I just don't think there's enough time. I like to scout players to get their not full, but at least 90% on some of them, and sometimes there just isn't enough time, particularly when you're thrown in like that. Now, you might notice that Gustav Orberg actually started for us in this match, and again, slight injuries to our fullbacks have kind of enabled that to happen, and it means that, Mbar doesn't have to play, because when he's played, he has done some shocking things, and unfortunately he's continued that this month, which is disappointing. Now, next up, Alexis Blin did equalise for Toulouse on 28 minutes, and then straight before half-time, Valérie Germain, or Germain, I don't know, why am I saying it like that? Valérie Germain, yeah, let's just go with that, made it 3-2 to Toulouse with the penalty. Now, it was disappointing to go. It was a humdinger of a first half. Overall, maybe, yes, they did deserve it, and we did okay, but the point is, Toulouse were a decent side, and we did a lot better than we did at the end of last season against them. They did then make it 4-2, which was disappointing, but then Dominic Gape brought one back for us, and we did really have a crack at them, but couldn't quite get the equaliser. I just feel like the last few matches, we've been so close to some incredible good results, and it's just not quite been there, and it's been so frustrating to watch. Believe me, we've just... Like, to lose these games like this and have such a poor stretch of no wins, it's been so annoying, because we've been so close in games. Like, most of these games, we've lost by 1-goal margins in all of our last 5 league games. We're so close to a decent result, and obviously we had the PSG and Saint Etienne games. That's fair enough, but we just seem to have. It's very frustrating, because we're right on the cusp of something decent. And again, here we weren't that great in this one. It has to be said. Junior Santos gave Stade Reims the lead, and this was poor because they were really struggling in the lead, and we just could not do it. And as you can see, in the midweek between these two games, Benjamin Sigris was injured, and it meant that Jeremy Frick had to stand in. And of course, Frick got injured during the game, which meant that we were actually left with Rabah Boukarara in goal, our third choice goalkeeper. And unfortunately, it was a goalkeeping error that led to their second goal, which was disappointing, but unfortunately you can't really place much, what can we really do? It's our third choice goalkeeper. Shame, but it happens. Aslan did score a goal for us and leveled things up, and I thought that was going to be the moment we sort of kicked on. But then Gilles Sunu, with the goalkeeping error from Boukarara, unfortunately, another defeat, and so close margins. Admittedly, this one we weren't anywhere near as good on the night, which was disappointing considering how well we'd played against Eludes. Now, you might also note that we had 3 away games in the league in a row, which certainly hasn't helped with us this month. Next up, though, we had a chance for a bit of respite as we played CS Lemoulet, and this is why I love the French Cup, because this team aren't even from France. This team is from Guadeloupe, and they managed to get into the Cup. I don't know quite where they are in terms of the French league, or in terms of the league system, but the point is they got through, and we got to play them. Now, obviously, you can see I put out a massively weakened side here with Frick, Diakite, Da Costa Shecker, Philippe, Orberg. Mattis actually got himself a start, which is nice. Uchan and Gape did play. Sosa, Chevalier, and Djorkaeff. Even on the bench, it was pretty weak. You know, Poirier, Mouzouari. I didn't bring on anyone apart from Aslan, the sort of the first teamers. And as you can see, a hat-trick for Jean-Claude Djorkaeff. Relatively simple stuff. Uchan's penalty and Sylvain Chevalier's goal as well. Now, the difference is that over the first 25 minutes of this game, we were playing our usual tactic. I then decided to turn it off of lower tempo and switch it up a little bit, because we've got better players now, and I figured that they could play the ball around a little bit faster. And when we did that, it just sprung us into life, basically. We'd already scored the first goal at that point, but that's when I decided to change things based on the number of shots and chances we'd created at that point. Djorkaeff got a second before half time, and as you can see, we really had a great little spell where we were just knocking the ball about. Obviously, one of them was a penalty, but still, we looked very, very, very good. Obviously, against a really low quality opposition, so it isn't really much to go by, which is fine. But I then decided to take that into the next game away at Lorient, and this one was more disappointing. If you look again, we matched them for most of this game. For the most part, we were as good, if not slightly better than them. And yet again, we came out on the wrong side of things because of yet another irritating own goal from Abraham and Bar. I'm going to show you it. He basically slide tackles this one into his own net. Sigris could have done a little bit better, I will admit, but I just felt like, look, we had 3 clear-cut chances to none in this one. And great save for Sigris, and Mbar just tackles it into his own net. I don't know what he's playing at, but yet again, we were denied what should have been at least a draw by randomness like that. And it just, I just feel like the luck has to change at some point. We've just had so much shitty luck lately with these results. Like, that should have at least been a draw. No, in fact, a draw would have been a fair result. Next up, we had Olympique Marseille at home, who, of course, are third in the league. That was the team that were third, not Toulouse. They were, like, 9th, I think. At home, better chance, obviously, to give us a bit of a go at it. And again, they had more shots on target than us, that is definite. We were certainly not as bad as we have been in recent games, but yet again, one goal, and Dimitri Payet's goal, if I remember correctly, was a really solid effort. But we actually did quite well. At one point, we had 68% possession against this lot, and it was disappointing to see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look, straight at the goalkeeper, but he's bundled it into his own net. A clear-cut chance apiece, half chances apiece, saved. I mean, they had 5 long shots as well, but then again, we had 3. So I just feel like all these games that could have been draws, or we've lost them all, and that's poor. We've had some really good chances in some of these games, and our strikers haven't taken them. So it isn't all down to that. They just haven't taken them sometimes, and that's disappointing. So we really do need to sort things out now, because as you can see in the league, we are now only 3 points above the relegation zone, amazingly, and also amazingly, Monaco are still bottom of the league. Remember that team that smashed us? We didn't win, but they did smash us. Still bottom of this division. So things are looking a little bit dangerous at the moment. We are going to have to be careful and try to start picking up some victories soon, because we gained, 13 points from our first 5 matches, and we've gained 5 from our last 16 matches, which is utterly disgraceful. 7 points from our last 16 is disgraceful performances, frankly, and I'm hoping that we can try and sort that out with these little changes that I've made to the tactic. But again, it might take some tweaking, but I don't want to change it too much, because that could end up making us even worse. So injuries haven't exactly helped, of course. Still a reasonable amount of players out, unfortunately, which isn't helping. Top goal scorer is still 4 goals with Djorkaeff. 7 goals for Alberto Cherry now. As for assists, it's Quentin Pereira with 7. Player of the match is Quentin Pereira, of course, with 2. Average rating is, actually Djorkaeff, but we will ignore that one for now. Kylian Philippe's done a decent job this year, which is nice to see. Key passes, of course, is going to be Pereira with 85 already. And, of course, value is Azan. Now, we are going to have to be a little bit careful here. We can't afford to go on too much of a bad run anymore. This is really quite important for us that we don't do that. So today is against Nancy, and as you can see, they are 19th in the league. They aren't in the best of form lately. In fact, I don't know if we can see their form. So they actually did well. They won in the cup, and then they've lost. They beat Angers, they lost, and they lost. So, generally defeats all round, apart from that decent result against Angers. So that's basically how that's going to be. Now let's just go on to the game. We are at home as well, and I'd like to think that at home I have no idea how we're going to cope with that tactic, if I'm honest. But as you can see, we've also turned off, so I've not got it on lower tempo anymore, basically. I just decided that perhaps we should just try and speed the ball up. And I noticed that in some of these games, we were much, much better on the ball. We looked more like scoring. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for us in some of these games. Now, do I really want Abraham and Bar anywhere near the pitch? Would it be wiser to get Orberg, and is he still injured? Where is he? I swear I put him in the first team squad. Have I just, like, lost my mind or something? What about... Oh, yeah, also, I brought in a guy on loan. This is Usama Mezezri. He came in on loan from Stade Rennais, basically our affiliate club. They offered me him, and I thought, well, he'd be useful for backup. Unfortunately, he came in immediately and then was out for 6 weeks. So that's good. Then again, I suppose that's what you get when you join Paris FC, isn't it? Injured. Okay, so, yeah, so it's going to be Cherry, Aslan, Pereira, Gape, Uchan, Bulens, Mbar, Oban, Philippe, and Cantini with Siegrist in goal. Cantini is a little bit in better shape at the moment than Carlos Ruiz, and he's actually got better average rating overall, so perhaps it's probably wise to give him a bit of a run out as well. Give Ruiz a little bit of a rest. We've got a decent bench. People like Djorkaeff are now forcing their way onto the bench due to the sheer amount of injuries we've got, and his improvement as a player. He really is starting to get there for me. He's still only 1.5 stars, and his potential's come down a little bit, which is worrying, but that might just be as a comparison to some of the other players we've got. I don't know. I still think there's a good amount in this lad. That I see a bright future for him. Anyway, that's enough babble. Let's get into this. Now, we need a result here. A draw wouldn't even be good enough. We need a winner. Why are they favourites? I suppose they're favourites for every game, aren't they? It's certainly seeming harder than last year, which is surprising, actually. Then again, we had slips and blips last year too. It's just this year seems to be a huge blip that we've been in. Considering how well we started, I'm quite frankly amazed at the slump that we've gone into. But I suppose that's kind of similar to real life in the way that some teams start incredibly well and then just sort of fade away. Wolves did it. Hull have done it in the past too. Just looking at Premier League teams, for example. Blackpool were another one that did similar. Hopefully, though, against... Oh, of course. And the Paris FC curse strikes again. So, it's... I'm actually going to bring on Gaston Sosa. Because he's actually a better shadow striker than Janvier ever could be. He's more of a sort of attack-minded player, so I will get Sosa in there, hopefully. But losing Aslan again, he just... Didac has come back from injury about 4 times and immediately got injured again in training. It's very frustrating. Uchan with a free kick, and it's in the back of the net. We've not really deserved that looking at the stats so far, but there we have it. Paris FC 1, Nancy-Lorraine 0, and that is a massive result for us there. If we can win this one, that'll push us right back up to 13th place in the league, which... albeit the teams below us would have some games in hand, but it would at least give us a bit of a gap. Although when you look at the fact that Lyon are winning at the moment, that would still keep that gap relatively small. So we would still need to keep picking up some wins. But these are the sort of games that we need to be winning. They've started well though, so I don't expect it to be an easy one. Uchan's ball in, Pereira with the ball down, and it's a penalty. Okay, don't really agree with that personally. It's one of those annoying ones where you don't really see what happens. So it may or may not have been a penalty. Also, they have actually had 5 long shots, so, you know, those shots is a little bit misleading, as is ours in a way, because we've had 3 as well. Alberto Cherry steps up from the penalty spot. It is 2-0 to Paris FC. My God, I can't remember the last time we were 2 goals to the good in a game, if I'm honest, but that is massive for us. Maybe the little changes we've made have actually made a difference. We're still getting lots of possession. We're still doing all right with the pass completion, so that's sound. If we get to half-time at 2-0, I'll be very happy. But we're moving the ball around a little bit quicker. I'm hoping we'll see an example of it, because so far we've only really seen set pieces as highlights. No, I'm going to tell them they did well. Fuck you, Dante. Yeah, I'm pleased with your performance. I am. We're winning 2-0. You can't not be pleased with that, albeit it could be better in terms of us keeping them out a little bit. But, yeah, I'm overall pretty pleased. Let me just check the stats, because I just want to see how many long shots they've actually had now. 6 of their 10 shots have been long shots. But then again, we've had some as well, so it's not all one-way traffic, that's for sure, but I still think that overall we're slightly better. Sorry about that, guys. But one thing you'll notice is when we get the ball into the middle of the pitch, they're not holding on to it for quite as long. Hopefully we'll see a highlight of it at some point in this match. I really do want to demonstrate it, though, because that's basically the change I wanted to make. That is a great name. That is a fantastic name he's got right there. Right, here we go. And comes out to Mumbar. He's out wide now, brings it back into Bulens. Now, watch when they get the ball in these sort of central areas. They will move. They won't quite always hold onto the ball for as long as they would have before. They move it around a little bit quicker. The passing is just that slight bit more swift than before, and I think that can sometimes throw teams. It's a good ball out from Mbar. Can he pick a ball? He whips it across. It's Cherry across, and it is 3-0 to Paris FC, and we're in dreamland. Alberto Cherry, I don't know how many goals. That's his 9th goal of the season now. He suddenly seemed to have hit form. now that he's back in the team, he does seem to have found himself some form. This is a lovely ball in from Mbar. Lovely run across the man there from Cherry, and it's 3-0 Paris FC, and surely now that is 3 points in the bag. But I don't want to speak too soon, even though I already have. I'm going to replace one of our centre mids here because they are the most knackered players on the pitch, and Gape hasn't really had the best day of his life. Oban is probably going to be the last man to come off. I'll probably bring Ryan Phillips on for a little bit, but 3-0 up here is surprisingly good, considering how poor our form has been lately. It really is very, very surprising. So what I mean about form, it just suddenly goes out the window in some games. Janvier to Souza, got players all over the place. Cantini, can he whip one in? He can. Cherry there was, I thought we were going to have a hat-trick for Alberto Cherry. That would have been nice. A goal back for them now could still give them confidence. Why isn't Mbar tracking his man properly? I know he's more of a centre-back, so that could be the... How have we not won the ball there? There's 3 of them. Just one of you guys, just any of you, take a touch on it. Just Christ on a bike. Okay, but hey, the win is currently looking solid for... he's going to keep that in. He's going to keep that in. That all stemmed from them not managing to clear the ball when there was 3 of them against 1 player. They've got their goal, and they deserve it when you look at the stats for the game. They definitely deserve a goal. Purbear did incredibly well to keep that in there. Poor defending, probably again from Mbar, to end up allowing that situation to develop. Right, we're going to just bring on Ryan Phillips here for Oban, because he is looking knackered now, because I just want to try and give us a bit of solidity, and I don't want us to concede another goal, because it would, we've been good, perhaps not 3-0 good, that's definitely not fair on them, but 3-1, I wouldn't begrudge us that in a way. Around the corner for Janvier, and it's cleared again, and it's cleared again, and it's cleared again, and it's a free kick. Okay. Wow, we love a good goalmouth scramble. It's like that movie When Saturday Comes every single time we play. We're like a top flight Sunday League team. But there we go, it is Paris FC 3, Nancy-Lorraine 1, and that would put us up into 13th in the league. It's still going to be incredibly tight at the bottom though, with teams below us winning games, so it's certainly not out the woods yet, particularly as we've played an extra game on teams like Lyon. We could still slump right back in there, but it's given us a bit of confidence, I'd hope, that we can sort of kick on into the next few matches. I'm really, really pleased with that. It's a solid result. Plus now we've got Angers away from home, and they're one of the other teams down there. A win there could be immensely important for us, genuinely, and they've won a game too, so it's certainly getting tight down at the bottom, but I think we've got enough in the tank to slowly sort of haul ourselves away there. And as you can see, Quinta Pereira is on the top assisters in this entire division. You'll also note that not a single PSG player is in the top goal scorers. Basile just seems to be constantly banging goals in for Can, and I don't really know how he does that, because even when they're bad, why has he not been scouted? I don't think I've even been scouting this league this year. I've got my scouts going all over the world at the moment now, trying to find some of these youngsters. I'm pretty pleased with that result. In fact, I'm very pleased with that result. Monaco looks like they've got 3 games in hand on some teams now, so in theory they could actually overtake us if they won all 3 of them, but the chances of that seem pretty damn low. Anyway, let's move on to what we're going to be doing in the next episode. Now, I'm just trying to think what we should probably do. How many games? Right, I'm trying to think. We've probably got about 3 episodes left this season, so I would say Lyon away would be good, and then perhaps Guingamp or Saint-Etienne for the, and then oh no, of course we've got to do Paris Saint-Germain, haven't we? Right, in that case we'll probably do Bordeaux. That way there's a bit more of a gap in between the, or should we just jump straight to PSG? Depends, because there would be potentially some more cup games in there as well. It's a tough one to know, because I don't want to do too much in an episode, because I don't know if I physically can at the moment, but I also don't want to do too little. No, screw it. The next episode is going to be PSG. I'll do a big episode, a bit more of a bumper crop, so we can enjoy our next match against Paris Saint-Germain at home. So we've got some winnable games coming up, I'd like to say. Angers we've got to play. Nice is going to be tough, but you never know. Montpellier is winnable. Bordeaux is going to be really tough. Lyon is again winnable. Lille probably not. Stade Rennais, you just don't know. There's some winnable games in there for us, and I'd like to see if we can sort of solidify ourselves as a mid-table club and be looking a bit safer when we come into that, because our run-in is not exactly ideal. So guys, if you like what you're seeing, please do drop a like on the video, and if you'd like to even more than that, please subscribe to my channel for more Outcaster icons and From the Shadows in your inbox every single day. Well, there will be a video every single day at 7 o'clock, and I'll see you guys in the next episode for yet another one of our face-off matches against Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know what the aggregate score is at the moment, but I can imagine it is not pretty. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.